First of all, man, this is such a blessing, and I'm so thankful that God picked me to be here at this time. And sometimes it's kind of overwhelming when you sit there before the game and you see our student body. I mean, like, how about that crowd, right? And it's just incredible, man. I'm just super thankful. I'm thankful for our young men who have this grit and resolve about them that it doesn't matter what's going on, like they figure out a way, and they've got this great belief, not just in themselves, but in our staff and what we're telling them and asking them to do, and they just stay together. And so the most important thing about today was that we protected our home court, right? And that was the most important thing.
Coach, was today kind of a study in perseverance by you guys?
Man, perseverance is such a big word. We knew this game was going to be like this. We knew it was going to be a 40-minute grinder, and every possession was going to matter, and they would make runs and we would make runs. And I think our guys, understanding that mindset going in, didn't allow themselves to get flustered by anything.
And was that, you were down 8, was that about 3-minute stretch as well as you guys have played all year?
Yeah, I mean, I just remembered the noise the crowd was making, right? Like every deflection, every tip, every bucket, like the decimal meters just kept going up and up. And, you know, when your crowd is loud, the louder they are, the faster you should play. And our guys bought into it, so it was pretty cool.
After the equity that you kind of put into it, how rewarding was it to kind of hear Sandstorm kind of go off the way that you'd like it to go off?
Very proud to hear that. I actually did not know when they played it, right? Like I was in doing what I was doing, but Gene told me afterwards. And so proud of our student body. And I mean, we got a great group of students, and they are buying into what it means to build a championship culture and to really love our university and what we are about. And so just proud of them.
As soon as you guys go down 45-37, you bounce right back. Did you learn anything about your team then, or did you already know that they had that kind of resolve?
No, I knew we had that kind of resolve. In the timeout, I told them, hey, we're going to score, right? And then it's going to be a 6-point game. That's a 2-possession game, and there's a lot of time on the clock. And they said okay, and they went out and they executed.
What can you say about Ish Massoud's consistent energy off the bench?
That Ish is there's this phrase these days where people call someone a two-way player, right? Oh, he's a two-way player. And I know in football, right, like there's an offense and there's a defense and you sub and you have a punter and a kicker and they're like those kind of things. But in the game of basketball, everybody has to do everything, right? We don't get to pause it when it crosses half court and then put a next group in. And what Ish is buying into is being a complete player and understanding that all the little things matter, right? Not just the ball going in the hole. And in fact, he turned down a 3 I wanted him to shoot. And so we'll go, you know what I mean, like us understanding, but he did it because he said, Coach, I was trying to do what I felt you wanted me to do. And that was really cool. I told him thank you, you know what I mean, because he's really thinking about what it takes to win basketball games. And so Ish we call him Big 12-ish. Like we like this Big 12-ish.
You told a story earlier this week about Ish not diving for the line during Shark Week. When did things kind of start to flip for him, I guess, in terms of his investment and buy-in to what you guys were trying to get him to do?
Probably like right before the Big 12. I think there was I can't remember what the game was, but I didn't play him very much. And both he and Tyke. And, you know, I just asked him, like, do you enjoy, like, sitting on the bench? Or are you going to be happy about the 12 to 15 minutes that you're playing? And he told me his thoughts, and some of them were very valid. Like, he had very valid points. And we had a really good discussion, and I said, this is what I need from you. And we started playing Big 12 games, and we've seen Big 12-ish.
How important is it for you to be able to establish those kind of conversations in your first year with someone like Ish?
Well, I think it's important to have those kind of conversations with all you guys. Like, I mean, in a day and age when guys can transfer and play right away, the point is there, if you're playing games or you're lying to them, you're not being really transparent with them, then you're going to lose them anyhow. So I'd rather just have those frank conversations, and because we're trying to build grown men, right? Like, take boys and make them men, and you have to be able to have tough conversations with them, and then they have to be able to make the right decision after that. And for some people, it's pack your bags and leave, right? But then when you're a husband, right, and things are going bad at the house, right, what you gonna do? Pack your bags and leave? No, right? We stick it out. We have commitments and we stick them out, and those are kind of lessons that we're trying to teach these guys. They're gonna help them way past after they play basketball.
And to see Ish respond and continue to commit to what you guys were trying to get him to do, what's that say about his character?
Well, I knew Ish was a high character guy all along, right? I mean, he's very devout in his faith, and I'm so I'm thankful for that on our team, and he's trying to do the right things. I think he just didn't know, right? Or he valued some things more than another, and we just all had to figure out what we value together.
We've seen you Wabash on the court. What led you to take the next step and hop into the stands?
Well, because everybody's been making fun of my dancing, right? Like, I was a really good dancer at some point in time, but all they see is me doing the Wabash by myself. And so they think that's how I dance. So I said, next time I do this thing, I'm jumping in with the students so they can see that everybody is doing this, and I'm just being a part of them. So that, yeah.
And then how nice was it for Keontae after a half and some change of struggling to kind of find a little bit of momentum and then kind of get his offensive game going?
No, we needed him. We told him, hey, Key, we need to be more aggressive. I think he'd only taken 2 shots or something in the first half. And, dude, you got to be more aggressive. And because him taking a tough shot is sometimes better than somebody taking an open shot. And I thought we did a better job as a staff of manipulating their defense and giving us better driving angles and things, and putting them in a little better position than we did in the first half.
Did you guys do anything differently to get Marquise going today, or is that just him making shots and being aggressive early on?
No, he was making shots and being aggressive. Keith, I thought against Kansas that was his best point guard management game of the year. Right, like they took things away from him. He didn't let it rattle him. He managed the game. He did some really, really good things as a point guard, right? That don't show up in the stat sheet. But that young fellow likes to see the ball go in the hole, and that's what gets him going. And so he was determined to have a good game today, like shooting wise. And so and we needed it. So.
Coach, everyone talks, you and your players talk about doing the next right thing. Mm-hmm. And today you were able to do that, coming off an emotional win against KU. Some people might have thought this was a trap game, but Texas Tech was really good. How hungry is this team?
Man, I don't know how to answer that question or to gauge it. What I do know is that they're not satisfied. They don't think we're as good as we can be. They understand every day we keep getting better, and they really love basketball. I got a group that really loves basketball, and I have to monitor their time in the gym to make sure that we have legs. And so, frankly, we probably enjoyed the Kansas win too much and still had a little hangover in our first practice back. And I had to stop practice and say, hey, y'all go home and we'll come back tonight. And because we're not getting better. We weren't going 1-0 in practice, and they left, and we brought them back, and had some stuff prepared for them. Nothing physical. I'm crazy, but I'm not an idiot. I knew we needed legs, and and the guys saw it and bought into what we showed them and understood. And then the next day we had a really good practice yesterday, which led into today.
And just what kind of dogfight is the Big 12?
You're talking about, when we were picked 10th in the league, I said, well, heck, all 10 teams in the conference are going to the NCAA tournament, because I thought we were an NCAA tournament team. And so, that's what, there are 10 teams in our conference that could go to the NCAA tournament, are good enough to go to the NCAA tournament. And every night, you're going to be in a battle, and the game is going to be different. Sometimes it's going to be up and down. Sometimes it's going to be a slower pace. Sometimes, it's going to be one thing or another, and you got to be able to adjust and then not let one loss beat you twice, right? And be able to move on.
This is a team you're on the verge or nearing top 10 ranking for the first time in a decade at K-State. You were picked 10th at the start of the season. How motivated did that make you guys?
Not at all. Not at all. The rankings don't matter at all. It matters to our fans. It's good for recruiting, and stuff like that. But for this team, right? That's not what we're about. It's the ranking at the end of the season that matters.
Thank you.
I know it was only a couple minutes, but how nice was it to get David out there and in the swing of things again?
Oh, it was really good, really good. He had he moved around well yesterday. This morning he came and moved around well. Said he felt he could go some. We got a plan for bringing him back to where he was before he got hurt, and so very excited.
Keith really filled the stat sheet tonight. What's it like seeing a 5'8" point guard grab 8 rebounds?
Man, well, we told everybody else to hit somebody, and then Keith, you're the fastest guy. Go run in and grab the ball. And no, he's just a competitor, right? If there's one thing you know about that dude, he's gonna compete, right? And it shows up. Whatever we need to do to win.
And then your two stars. They see it's either Keith finishing a game out or Keontae finishing a game out. How key is it them down the stretch to put teams away?
Big time players have to make big time plays and big time moments, and both of these guys have done that. But those other three guys that are out there with them do a really good job of setting the stage and doing what they need to give them the opportunity to do that. So really, winning close games down the stretch it's a whole team effort.
And then my last one is, were you surprised at all when you initially got to campus to see, the only two returners, that how devout they were in their faith with God?
Yeah, because I didn't really know them. I knew they were good kids, though. And it didn't take long to figure out that, they're good kids and what's important to them, because I had conversations with them early. And I think that's why we meshed. We gelled so quickly, because it's something that's important to all of us, regardless of what our faith is.
You don't mind me asking, do you guys ever go to church together?
No, I haven't done that with them.
Coach, as far as defense goes, would you say this was one of your better efforts of the season?
Yeah, the numbers say it was. I don't know. I think our first shot defense all year long has been really good. We got to figure out how to limit second chance opportunities, and that's going to be the next thing. We're cutting down on our turnovers. We had 3 of them at the end that were just dumb, right? And probably I should have done something different with that. But, so I felt like we could play this game with 11 or less turnovers. But we have to make an improvement on the defensive glass.
And then limited Fardaws down there to 6 points today. He's widely recognized as one of the better big men in the Big 12. After the performance you guys had against Eddie Lampkin and some of these other big guys, is it kind of nice to see that starting to figure out that area of the defense as well?
Yeah, he's good and he's big, but he's not Eddie. There's a difference there. But he's good, right? Don't get me wrong, he's good and he's huge and he caused us problems. Eddie's a little different animal, though.
In Big 12 play, Keontae's recorded at least 8 rebounds, in all but 2 of your guys' games. Was that something that you guys really wanted to kind of hammer home and increase his production on the glass?
No, it's what we needed. And he wants to win, and so he's doing what it takes to win.
Coach, you talk a lot about culture and not just being you or the coaches or the players, but the university as a whole. Why is culture, including the students and faculty of the university, not just the team?
I think it's important to me that we represent our community and our campus, and learning what I have about the student body and this community is that there's a great passion there, and that's a good thing. But your greatest strength can also be your greatest weakness a lot of times, and so we just have to. What we want to do is all channel the passion in the same direction, and because nobody ever accomplishes anything great by themselves. We need our student body. We need our community to support us to make this program what it's capable of being. And it is capable of being one of the top 5 programs in America, night in and night out, every year. And, that's why I came here.
It'll be a short turnaround because we play Tuesday. So I don't know if anybody wants to ask about Iowa State. I know Coach probably hasn't watched them, but if you want to just give those a little bit of my
What are your recollections of playing here?
Oh, the magic, right? Man, a very knowledgeable fan base. It was always cool to me that they didn't wait for their players to make a great play to cheer. Like when things weren't going well, they would start cheering them to try and motivate them to do well. That was really cool. And then when the students used to come running in, and that was when you're warming up on the floor, and all of a sudden they open the door and then they come running into their that's really cool. And then I remember the students doing the lions and tigers and bears, things. So that we had some great games there. While I was at Baylor, we had the opportunity and the privilege of winning quite a bit there, and so we'll see. But I know they are really good, man. They are really good. They're really tough. TJ's doing an unbelievable job with them, and so it's going to be another Big 12 battle.
Do you have more and more discussions with your team about kind of having the target on your back since you'll be sole possession of first place for that night?
Yeah, yes, we do talk about it. Not because we'll be in sole possession. Like where it is at right now, we were one year we was 2-8 at Baylor, won 8 of the next 9 games, right? And I'm going to the NCAA tournament. And then one year we were 4-1 or something, and then lost 10 of 11 or something, right? So where you're at right now doesn't matter. It's what are you going to do next and the next thing? So, but the fact that other teams prepare for us differently, right? Their players are more focused. We talk about that all the time. How focused were we going into game X or game Y or game Z? And they'll say very focused. And I say, well, now they are doing that for us. So we have to raise our level of focus because the coaches don't have to motivate them when you have a number in front of your name.